isn't a team sport, isn't an athletic event, isn't a ballet, isn't something that's conventional. They're not Boy Scouts, they're not Girl Scouts, but they need supervision. And they need we teach them a lot, power tools, how to do makeup, how to run an organization, and be responsible without giving up that ability to make people grossed out. So they use their artistic talent, their need to express themselves in a way that doesn't get them in trouble sometimes.
Don't take this.
And so that kind of is what motivates me.
Have the rest of you seen that, where you've seen opportunities to mentor?
And chicks do.
That's right. For the rest of you, have you noticed that same experience? I mean, I have. I've seen other aunts where you get a lot of kids that are kind of on the fringe, and you really make a good, cohesive family. You're able to enjoy something that you all love and appreciate. You guys have the same experience?
Yeah, I think it's actually more than that. It's when our kids are down there, and when I say our kids, it's because I have 106 kids now. Thank God I don't have to feed all them all the time. But the bonds that they grow together down there are just wow. I don't know about you folks. I know we have a lot of in-house relationships that always seem to happen afterwards. So. Afterwards? I'm trying to be nice.
There's no time like the present.
But no, I think everything you said, I couldn't disagree with you one bit whatsoever. The kids coming down and getting in there. I don't know how many kids Beaver has working with. I know I've seen your crew numerous years now. Wow, that's
Every one of these were kids when I started. Every one of these kids were in high school when I
or younger.
That's cool.
Don't worry, kindergarten does end sometime.
Why do you think something like this is popular? There's a lot of youth that get involved with this. Why do you think, above and beyond what you just said, why do you think this is attractive to a lot of these kids?
I think it's because of acceptance. They're accepted by us. They look at us, they see us, and they grow from us. My volunteers coming down here with me, like I said, they're my kids from another mother or whatever you want to call them.
Oh, I agree. It's all a family environment. People are the family stick out, and you belong to this tight-knit group, organization, club, and you really get to go out and do stuff. We have events all year, picnics, and that branches off into camping trips and sometimes.
Yeah, with us, it's like the 4th of
Barbecues.
4th of July. 4th of July, we throw a $5,000 fireworks show and barbecue, and the kids come out and get to have fun. And, I live on a big ranch, so for me, the kids to come out, sit around a bonfire, drink sodas, or do whatever, keep them away from the beer, the drugs, the big city, most of the time.
That's right.
Good job.
That's right.
I confiscate most of the stuff that our kids have.
It's a great opportunity for kids to express their creativity and have their ideas accepted, because there's not a lot of places where a teenager can go, hey, here, I've got this idea, and have adults embrace it and go, hey, let's run with that. So that's a lot of fun, is allowing the kids to come out, have ideas, present them, and then get to actually build or act and bring
how it's going today?
You know, I think I said this last year, I think I'll say it again this year. Halloween is only second to Christmas in the amounts of retail. But if that's why you're in the business, it's not why you're in the business. If you're a haunt that's out there making money, you know, then you must know something that we really don't. Because I've been doing this since '94. It's about the love of doing it. Is the industry growing or stagnant? Yeah, that's a hard one. I'll throw that one to Beaver. Like you and I sound
Well,
nice and political about that one.
I think what, I think everybody's probably got, I would say the numbers have leveled off. Now we're fighting over the same audience. And that's probably a point where there are just so many people that have an interest in doing this. And now if you don't basically grow your own audience by having kids develop an interest in it and bringing their friends down to show it, there is no next generation of people that want to see a haunt. And so the sooner you can recruit kids, the longer you're going to have an audience that wants to see them. Their parents are key to this. When we target a show, it's like we'll build it with the kids, but we want to scare the dads. They're the ones paying the money. And if you can scare a dad, you can put him on his knees, you've succeeded. Anybody can scare a 12-year-old. But you put a 40-year-old man on his knees, you've really done a good job. And that's, everybody has what they want to see, what it is they want to do. I want to put a 30, 40-year-old man on his knees in front of his kids. That's
Again, more.
No comment on that one.
So we can shift to the scare in general. Everyone has got, there's a lot of common things you see in the way of how we scare people, but what do you feel is unique about your show? And go down with each person. What's your competitive advantage? What do you enjoy doing? For example, myself, when I was in second grade, I went to Disneyland the first time. I went to Pirates of the Caribbean. Completely transformed my life because I saw the power of fantasy and how it can affect people, because it affected me. And so I'm continually trying to do things to have that same feeling that I had. And it happens with the show. Not always, because it can be, as we all know, so stressful and so freaked out until it finally hits day 2 or day 3, and then you remember why you did this in the first place. That for me. So we're always trying to sort of recapture that. For the rest of you, what maybe where you got started with it, and what makes your show special? What are you trying to do?
For Jody, my business partner, and I, we like the kind of the Disneyland feel. Our philosophy is if we're having somebody run out of there, whether they're laughing or screaming, our mission's been accomplished. Not everybody, does get scared, like I said, but we try to scare as many people as possible and make them have a good time. As long as they're having a good time coming out of there, telling their friends about it. One of the things that's unique for us is ours is all 3D haunt. We're not the biggest and the most veteran haunt out there, so that's kind of the angle we take. We kind of try to make it fun. We know we're going to scare them, but we like to have people come out and go, wow, that was cool. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I've
approach this from a different angle. When I got involved in the hunt, it was because the show needed help and security. And my biggest focus on production has been making a safe program. And it started with physical security, then went into wiring and the safe production of the show. And I was doing that a long time before I ever built anything that was an effective set. And it's always been my biggest priority that parents that feel safe sending their kids to play in our program. And once we accomplish that, then we can go on to try and do something, you know. Effective, scary stuff didn't come to me very fast. I was building friggin' rooms and walls and doing physical things for a long time before I really could understand what it took to create a scare out of something. And that was quite a learning process. I mean, there's a physics involved that, you know, distraction and startle and all the different kinds of scares and things like that. I had to learn those. It wasn't easy. I was making guillotines and coffins when I was 12 years old. The idea of really doing a productive show was learned. I don't say that I'm any expert on it now. In our program, we've been able to go outdoors and take advantage of real open air. We put together a trebuchet. Sitting in my driveway now with a sign that says, "We'll siege for beer." But, you know, we don't use things to death. We try to rotate stuff. We'll use something for a couple of years and then go on. So it's run its life cycle now and we're going to mothballs. But the show to me was, I came at it from a little different angle.
Wow. You guys have great stories down there.
Come on, Clark.
When I retired from the military, I became a fire department medic, and they had a haunted house. And eventually over the years, they said, "Clark, can you run the haunted house?" I am more autistic than artistic. You build it, I'll make it scary. You know, but you know, my whole thing was pretty much, it wasn't for myself. And again, believe me, this comes down, and I just heard it not too long ago from our lawyer. I give all the money away at the end. I pay the bills and give the rest of it to Mary Rich and my actors. And my lawyers always go on, "Clark, you need to keep something." You know, I work a good job, and it's the love of, not so much as scaring people. It's not the job of anything. It's the seeing our actors smile and have friends for that month. And every year when we reopen, and they're reuniting with each other and giving each other hugs and kisses and all that lovey-dovey stuff, you know, that is where it's worth the while. And giving the money away to our charity, which is Mary Bridge, you know, if I can make one kid smile, I don't care if I give away every friggin' penny I ever make. You know, like I said, you guys have great stories. Mine's just kind of, you know, it's the love of the game. You know.
Well, and you see that a lot. I mean, so many haunted attractions are connected to the community. I mean, you go to the East Coast, go to Texas, other places, you get these giant for-profit haunted houses. And that's one thing you see here is so many of them. I know myself. I know you do. I know a lot of haunts are connected with some kind of charity. And so, the Boys and Girls Club, with so much that scared us. It's obviously not just for fun, but it's a real connection to your local community and so on. With that in mind, maybe we can share a little bit of some of our best moments, because obviously we do this. We have a good time. We all the technical of it, but obviously we love doing this. There's a reason for it, but because if we didn't love it, we wouldn't come back to it. So, especially on the day before you actually open, everyone's about ready to drop dead. So, tell us some of your favorite moments. What are some of the things that you just really dig? What has made you laugh? What made you, make it worthwhile? Any good stories? Pants wetting, that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, we have one girl, as all our crew, like you guys were saying, you develop the members of your cast, like in a lot of theater types of productions, the members of the cast develop a very familial type of relationship where at the end of the run there's hugs and tears and, hopefully we'll see you next year and all that kind of stuff, right? And anyway, one of the girls that we have working for us, she's a screamer, she's a designated screamer, she's in this area where she's yelling at people, get out before this other thing happens. And we had a lady, this is in the Everett Mall, maybe this is just peculiar to Everett, but we had a lady come in her stroller, very, very concerned. It's like, are you holding somebody captive back there? I'm like, look at her, it's like, what? She's like, if there's somebody captive back there, you can release her. It's like, lady, this is a haunted house, she's an actress. She's like, oh my God, I don't know. I said, well, you'll talk to mall security, and they'll come down and straighten everything out, I'm sure. And we also know that we love is we have, our thing is we have the last ride, which is a burial simulation. We get a coffin, and we have people come in there, and it's like, well, we get in, what happens when we get in? So we tell someone, oh, but where do you go? And it's like, what happens afterwards? It's like, well, you're in the Everett Mall, but you're not in. When you get out, you're still going to be in the Everett Mall. It's going to be okay. So people are very gullible, so I think sometimes you almost want to control just how far you want to take them. You don't want to take them too far, you want to pass their breaking point, so you got to sort of balance that a little bit. Because we could definitely do things way more drastic, than we currently do. We intentionally soften, the impact of some of our things so that we don't push people over the edge and lose them somewhere.
Lost in the Everett Mall.
Yeah, there's Planet Earth, Everett Mall.
That doesn't mean look on your t-shirt, I got lost, I got stolen in the Everett Mall.
That's t-shirt.
We've had a few pants weddings, but one of my favorites was one of our actresses was so excited that she scared a fart out of somebody. I wasn't too sure how she knew because it's pretty loud in there, so I don't know if she actually heard it or figured it out some other way. So she was pretty proud of herself.
We had an actress that her first show was, and her first scare, jumped out, and lady fell and broke her leg. Very first. And so she was like, is this what? She never came back. Because she was like, I kill people. So I thought it was fine, whatever. But there's some real power. Of course, now my son is helping out with the show, and I was such a proud father. Watching him scared, guys 30 years older than him, just screaming their hearts out. I was watching from the guy on the sidelines and watching my son make a fool of himself. And this guy's just screaming like girls and just loving it. He was just so pumped up. So great experience. Any other good stories? Any other fond moments of making people cry?
I could probably, in my 20 plus years of experience, give you a lot of stories. I think the best way is, we're called the Asylum, the Black Lake Asylum. We've actually had a guy who stood in line for an hour to check into the asylum. And when we went to, charge him the $13, he was like, no, you don't understand. I need to check into the asylum. I'm like, okay, well, $13. And he goes, no, you don't understand. I need to check into the asylum. And I'm like, okay, $13, and we'll let you in. He goes, no, I need to see the doctor in the asylum. And at that point, it started clicking to me. This guy really thought we were an asylum and wanted to check in and see the doctor. Was that memorable? Yeah, because the first thing I did is looked over at security. Security! But, in all my years of doing this, I have to say my favorite story is going to be last year. We had a young lady named Dr. Dementia. She suffers from CS. For those who don't know it, it's called cystic fibrosis. She's going to have lung failure. She's actually getting a lung transplant this year. And of all my years of doing this, she's old enough now to where she's actually not seen at the Children's Hospital anymore. And when she was up in Tacoma General, in her hospital bed, halfway through the haunt, wanting to come back to the haunt, literally, not able to breathe. And we actually took the nameplate up there that said Dr. Dementia, and she had that up on her hospital table, and she had our poster up on the wall and was constantly bragging, and there was no greater feeling than when we was able to give her the check to give to the Mary Bridge Children's Hospital. Another 100 years could go by before I could ever run into something like that. Sorry, I'm a little teary-eyed now, but that, again, all it takes is that one thing, that,
One of our volunteers, his daughter's there. And we do an annual motorcycle benefit ride. And they refer to it as 65 roses, because that's the way they say it. We should look at it. That's a pretty good ride. I've got a lot of stories too. They're a lot funnier than
Hey, that's where it's about the party.
yeah. What has always amazed me, and I don't know how most of the shows, most of you guys are pretty responsible, but there are some irresponsible shows. And back again to my main concern is putting that safe environment together. And I can remember dozens of incidents of guys acting out when they were drunk or doing this or that, but some of them really rise to the surface. You can imagine a guy coming through who was just a little too drunk to think that. So instead of normally we would follow in with one of our security guys and make sure that he didn't act out, we had one of the Des Moines police following through. And when the spider came down from the ceiling, lower down and landed on his shoulder, he freaked out, jumped over a railing, knocked himself cold on the floor. When he came to, it happened to be Andy Emmer, another volunteer policeman with us, and he says, "I'm with the Des Moines Police Department, I'm here to help you." And they kind of went nuts. Took 5 of us to get him out of the building and into a car. And later, when they did finally get him into the station, finally prosecuted him, they found out he had warrants out of California for kidnapping.
Oh my God.
One would think that a kidnapper wouldn't be so afraid of spiders. The last time we had an occurrence like that, guy grabbed 2 actresses, we got right that woman, got him out back, hired a kite, 35 years old, pocket full of drugs, was prosecuted. They actually prosecuted him for kidnapping because he wouldn't let one of the girls go. Lost his job as an air traffic controller at SeaTac Airport. That was a surprise. So, like I said, if you create this environment and you have enough people, there's a percentage of the people that are going to act out. And you get 5,000 people in line, there's a few of them that are not going to behave. And so, I think to be a responsible show, you've got to do something to prevent that, keep your kids safe. Because some of them are 12 years old, and actors as well as patrons. But there's going to be a percentage that just act out.
Now, outdoors especially, it's a very interesting character. Guys taking a tinkle on the trail, or strangers that I know at Nightmare, it's first year, second year. Someone was standing there, 2 guys at one of the scenes. We were like, "What's going on? Are you too scared?" He's like, "No, we heard the screams from across the lake, so we took a canoe, came across, and just thought we wanted to see what was going on. Beat it, And so they were pleasant.
They try that every year.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was just so funny. But and as you can see, there's great power in this show. It can change people's lives, brings out the worst in some people, brings out the best. I've seen people, just some yahoos that come through, and I've seen other people that come every year because it just makes them happy. I've had kids tell me that this saved their life because they had nowhere else to go. So it's extraordinary. And the amount of effect that it has. You wouldn't think something like this being Any scares that stand out, any techniques? Obviously, you got proprietary things, but anything you think has worked really well with working with the audience, level of detail, certain style. Everyone's very different, so.
I think it's really great to have adults fill in, get the parents involved. You know, it's one thing to have a 12-year-old kid or a 14-year-old kid or something trying to do something and trying to screw you, but you get their 40-year-old man doing it, and people will pay attention. It's really fun. We get a lot of parents working with their kids, and that's a great opportunity. And we couldn't get enough of that. That's a really cool feature. Now we've got our guys getting old enough that they're bringing their kids on board. They've got all this fibrosis she has with her daughter, and he's really happy with. She just nailed this guy in the wall last year with Dorothy. Just loved it. And so yeah, I think there's a great degree. So we try and recruit both the parents and the kids. We get what we can. But you know, we get 100 people in Boston. It takes work.
We have families that they have their mom and dad work together with their little kids. We have a couple of actors that are 5, and consistently that people say the scariest part is those little kids.
That's great.
There's one girl that
That's
it's
cool.
nice because it's in a controlled environment. Parents are there, and this kid works it. I mean, better than some of the adults that I've seen because she's so tiny. She can crawl over things and stuff.
Yeah.
And people are screaming, and it's just like, and you see the look in her face. She's just like,
just
you know. So I hate to see what happens when she goes to school and everything, but just great. How about for the rest of you? What works? What kind of techniques?
So remember that we got to take younger kids now.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Controlled environment. Controlled environment.
Well, we don't actually only hire our kids that are over 18, like we hear all our actors. We were looking into seeing if we could put out a casting call for midgets. See if
Yeah, our minimum casting age is usually 15, and I threw a count last year when I found out one girl just turned 14 and she was with us for 2 years. I was like, yeah. I don't got many in the way of mom, dads, or anything like that out happening in the Tacoma area. A lot of the kids use it as an escape to get away from their parents. My wife, myself, our new business partner, Terry, raise your hand over there. He's one of the new business partners with us, and a lot of the kids actually come to us for advice that they usually should ask their parents, but I don't know if they're afraid to, but they're always coming to us and say, hey, you know, I'm having this problem with the relationship, and you know, I want to punch a wall, you know, because my girlfriend's breaking up, whatever, you know, and we actually sit there and talk with them. Things that they usually talk with us about, they don't talk with their parents, and we kind of keep that between ourselves unless it's something that's illegal or immoral, and I'm not talking my morals either. So, you know, with us, we usually try to keep that minimum age 15. You know, I hate to be responsible for a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old getting hurt. I don't know if I could we have a safe environment, but I don't know if I could live with myself if I knew a 10-year-old got hurt on my shift. You know what I mean? That definitely hurt.
And that is one of the deals. You can't really stand in front of somebody if they're going to swing and hit somebody.
Yeah.
And we've been down there. I've explained to parents something that they're doing. We do have moments just like we do. Primarily, fundamentally, we operate, I don't know if we operate differently, I don't know how you all operate, but we don't have anybody get paid. We're all volunteers. We have
Yeah.
Is there a question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. It sounds like most of you are doing charity work. Is that pretty
Well, it's common. I know, I think many of us are, if not charity, at least connected
Yeah.
to sort of community group.
So what I was wondering is, we do a lot of community work in our community, but this would be a lot of fun. How would you do a startup? How did you guys get started? Did you go, did you find, did you inherit the haunt, or did you make it up yourself? How did you get started in business, so to speak?
I know for myself, a lot of times, a lot of these type of events, you don't have a lot of a budget. And so it's a win-win. You know, I have experience, and so the group I'm with now, it's nonprofit. I mean, we have about 10 to 12 different youth groups. And it's a way for them to fundraise and be able to support their various, you know, provide scholarships for kids. It provides opportunities to go to various, you know, mentoring and training opportunities and so on. And a lot of it was just, I found the group and we just gave them a call and just said, hey, I've got the skills and you've got the venue and the group and we'd love to work together. And so a lot of it was just, we solicited it. You see a lot of Kiwanis and Rotary clubs and all of these. Is that what you were with?
Kiwanis, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's very common because so many of those groups are service oriented and they're hard workers and they're willing to step up and make it happen.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It is, and it's good. You know, it's very nice, and it's, you know, and you get a lot. You have some purely for-profit groups, fantastic. That's their thing. But as you can see, the majority of them, a lot of them, they start small, and they, you know, as was said, I mean, you have a real interest in serving the community. What better way to do that than work with a group, you know, like a Rotary Club or something. And so a lot of it is just, you know, talking to somebody. I know, at least that's what I've done. You know, I've done it for profit myself, and I've done the most of the time has been for nonprofit. And you know, that allowed both of us to have resources that the other one didn't have. So, as to how you would find someone to get started,
Yeah.
it's usually been me soliciting others. But any experience?
Okay, go ahead.
Just, I mean, yeah, it's, you kind of have to reach out because a lot of people don't even know that the haunted, you know, house industry exists. And so you just kind of, you know, get online and, you know, just open up the phone book, that kind of thing. But get online and look, find a charity. Well, I mean, obviously you've got the ones, but find a group that is near and dear to your heart. Our first year, we were working with somebody. They had an autistic child, and so we donated our portion of our profits to an autistic charity, and now we're working with the Boys and Girls Club because we really enjoy working with them. So, you know, get online, find somebody that you want to, you know, work with, and then nowadays, I mean, with the charity levels kind of dropping as everybody's income levels drop, they're looking for, you know, additional sources of donations and revenue. So I'm sure you find a million of them out there. And there are websites out there where you have people that have experience.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I mean.
yeah, and it's a lot of it's word of mouth. I mean, it's for us, for example, with the show I am now with now, this is our 4th year, and like I started with a couple of groups, and then word of mouth just spread. And now we have groups from, you know, we're in Maple Valley, and we have groups from, you know, Bellevue, from Tacoma, other groups, these youth groups. They make the drive, and they come out here, and so we started with a group of maybe 30, and now we're, you know, 120 plus. You know, and it's just word of mouth. You know, same with Beaver, I mean, it started fairly small, and now it's huge. You know, and it's everyone with a common goal. You know, so as to where you can find that, talk to some of these people. Depends on where you're looking.
Go to events like this.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So I mean, and so and if anything, for example, I originally got involved with Beaver Lake through Robert because our show we lost our location, and so Robert is a great guy. Connected me with the Rotary. Once my time was done, Scare was there. He did a fantastic job in making that show grow. And then where I'm at now, I just saw a park and said, hey, you want to try this? And they said, we happen to have a haunted forest, and it died. So let's do it. And it's been a great partnership. And so it was all word of mouth, all that networking. And so if you go for things like this, talk to people. We have all these haunts out here. You know, talk to them and see it. I bet you'll find something.
I'm always willing to see another haunt come into the business, but you know, like I said initially, the one thing in a haunt setting up the Crypticon thing this weekend, losing my keys. I was like, that's it, I'm done. But you know, I'm there. And it's the love of the game. And like I said, you're not going to jump out there. You're not going to, you know, I mean, and be, you know, a cube house or a kiss house overnight. You may get lucky and get that, but you know, you got to build everything. When you're starting from the ground up, just you know, I think even Des is here, Jody's out there. Weren't we just going over out in Olympia about fire rules on a haunt that got shut down because he was a for-profit and he just didn't want to follow the rules. And the county just kept on and shut it down. You know?
So there are some things that, like, you know, where are you located?
Bellingham, Washington.
Okay, is that the one? There's, after 1996, after that big fire back in New Jersey, where they killed all the people in there, that has started a wave of destroying indoor haunted houses that slowly rolled across the country. And when it hit us, we lost our 6,000 square foot indoor building because we didn't have a fire sprinkler system. So we went out and we found some fire sprinkler system buildings and then spent $15,000 cash to upgrade the sprinkler system to accommodate the local fire codes for Federal Way, Burien, and generally just about all of Western Washington. So when we find an indoor building that really you've got all of this, you can't even turn on a fog machine outside without setting off your fire system inside. And that's what drove us out of the mall on the Federal Way. And you just can't hardly afford to get set up. So you've got to find a venue that's going to allow you to build. Another thing is, haunted houses are full of people that are this prone. It's